of rare earth minerals and magnets to the United States. Those materials are essential to a number of American industries, including car makers, aerospace manufacturers, and semiconductor producers.
China produces 90% of the world's rare earth minerals.
Hello, here, Igor, to talk to you about some rare earth, the best rare earth stocks for 2026-2027. So here is the stocks that we will talk about: MP Materials, NVA, USAR, CRTM.L, and quadruple U. So if that's all you needed, so go ahead and give me a like and subscribe to my channel. They're free, and the likes help push the channel to more people to share the information. So for the rare earth, right? Here, a lot of people ask me, what are rare earth? Rare earth are a lot of are the minerals that that are used to do some of the stuff that we need for our own survival. So here is the list of what rare earth are used for. So rare earth are magnets. They're in the car. They're in the wind and solar turbines. They're in engines. They're in EV cars. They're in ceramic glasses. Some of them are used as fertilizers. Some of them are used in the scanning equipment in the hospital. So these are very important minerals that we need for our own survival and also for the economy. So rare earth mineral are used in a wide range of modern technology. So if you look at it, like I said earlier, smartphone, LED, flat screen, TVs, magnet in electrical motors and batteries, healthcare, defense, the fire jets, the submarines, the laser. US is working on a laser beam technology for some of the aircraft carriers, and for their defense, the missile defense system. And also it is used for satellites. So like I said earlier, these are very important minerals that we need for our own survival. So China dominates the rare earth market, right? Back in the days, 1980s, I believe, China just decided that they were going to lead the world in this field. So China, in 2021, the data showed that China was mining 61%, and the US only had 15.5% of the rare earth material. Myanmar, Australia, there is Brazil, there is Russia, right? But if you look at it, China is doubling the next one in line, which is Vietnam. And as a side note, when China had an embargo on Japan, Japan started actually mining and processing their own rare earth material because they needed it for their own survival. So what caused the issue between the U.S. and China is China decided to put on some restriction on rare earth material. So when there is restriction on rare earth material, the problem here is that the defense industry, it's going to be impacted, and also the chip users like NVIDIA, AMD, the chip makers, TSM, all of those big companies need those rare earth material to be able to survive and to manufacture those chips. And also, this came about because U.S. added some restriction on chip export to China to big companies like NVIDIA and AMD. So this is a very important material for our own survival. Again, so China is mining roughly 70% of the world rare earth metals through its share, its production, and is 69% according to the U.S. 2024 Geological Survey. But the problem here is the processing. China processes 90% of the global supply. So a lot of the the thing is, countries will mine the rare earth material, but they don't have the equipment and they know how to process it. So they will send it to China, and China will process the rare earth material into the metals and proportions that they needed, and then send it back. And also, China provided those rare earth material at a cheaper price compared to a lot of companies. So, you know, again, if we are gonna go and like take everything that the whole world needs, China produces almost 100% of the world heavy rare earth mineral or material or elements, if you want it. So the processing capacity in China, it's 93% for the magnets and 90% of the separation. When you take the mineral, you process it and you separate it from the bad material, China is leading at 90%. And you know, it's a lot for one country to actually hold the power on. So here is the companies that that the U.S. government, I will say the Department of War. It used to be a DoD, Department of Defense, but now it's the Department of War. It's getting contract with getting a stake into some of those biggest rare earth materials companies, so they can help the U.S. become sustainable on their own or for their own need for the rare earth metals. So recently, the U.S. government, the Department of War, that that mines rare earth metals. So Apple has entered into contract of $500 million contract with MP Material. The Department of Defense, currently called Department of War, entered into a partnership where the government took a stake into MP Material. That way, it helps regulate the price and provide the company with the funding needed to be able to be able to produce the metals, the rare earth metals that the U.S. is needed. The U.S. needs. So if you look at the breakdown for MP Material, which is one of the biggest, it's 16% is held by insiders. Institutions holds, let's say, a total of 45%, right? So this is a very good company. And also keep in mind that a lot of these companies don't make profit yet, but with the government help, they are gonna be on their way to do so. The next one will be Nova Minerals. This is an Australian company, and I think last week or this week, the president had their prime minister in the Oval Office, where they signed a contract for U.S. For NVA to provide the U.S. with the rare earth mineral. So, this company received a $43.4 million from the Department of War. It's a grant, and it will start production within the first 24 months. It also entered into contract with other companies, other cell phone makers like Apple and other companies that need those minerals to be able to keep their business moving. The third one will be USAR. This is the one that I'm invested in. That's not an advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but I invested in this one because the government haven't put their imprint on this one yet. But I kind of feel like it's coming because MP Material won't be able to meet the necessary needs for the U.S. On rare earth, so other companies are gonna need to get the share of that pie, and that the government, the Department of War, is willing to spread across. So Another company, this is a small cap. It's a CRTM. It invest. It got a $50 million private placement funds from Greenland, based Tambreeze rare earth project, and a lot of those companies, for since China placed that restriction on rare earth, have started to get into contract with companies that are willing to mine and process. But the problem right now, it's the processing. US does not have the capacity to process the know-how or the material or the equipment to do so. So the fourth one that I'm gonna talk about is quadruple U. This is one that I like the most because it mines the rare earth, but it's also into nuclear energy. So if you want to get a footprint on both rare earth mining and a nuclear producer, uranium producer, this is the best one. Because with the data centers, right, there is a lack of energy to production to satisfy the data centers need. So a lot of companies that are developing ways for using uranium or nuclear energy to produce those to produce energy for the data centers has been going up. So this one will give you a big footprint on both, on the rare earth and on the nuclear material. So I think this is the last talk that I wanted to talk to you about. So keep in mind that Trump is gonna meet with President Xi of China in the coming weeks. If that meeting doesn't yield a good results, these stocks are bound to go higher because U.S. and NATO and European Union are gonna have to find a way to satisfy the need on rare earth material for their defense and hospitals and equipment. So keep an eye on these. Again, this is not a financial advice. This should be something that you add to your toolbox when you're doing your own DD. And if you like my content, please like, subscribe, and comment. Tell me what you wanna listen to next, and then I will make a video on it. Also, I will link to some of the videos, stocks that I talked about before in some of the videos that are up over 20, 30, 40%. So these are good. They're still good because the utility sector has not been tapped in yet by a lot of investors. So I talked about some of those. All right. Thank you. And you have a wonderful rest of your evening.